What's going on, y'all? It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. It's really nice out here. I'm glad that I came out today. I've been through a lot. Just got out the hospital. Um, my blood sugar had got real, real, real high. Because I had ran out of one of the insulins that I take. I take two kinds of insulin. One of the kinds of insulins I had ran out of. So after like 6 days of me trying to get the medication, I ended up in the hospital. Just came back from my doctor's appointment. They checked me up, made sure that I was cool, made sure that I was good, which is a good thing, blessing. And I'm back out here. I'm very, very tired. I'm very fatigued, but I'm excited. I want to do something. I want to move around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna go in the house, check on my mom, make sure she's good, and then I'm probably gonna go into my little office and make some music. I've been wanting to make music for a while, but I've been too exhausted. But now I think today is gonna be a day where I really push myself to do it, just because I feel so. I don't know. I feel awakened and I feel creative, and I want to do something. I want to move. I'm tired of not moving around and not getting things done the way I want to. You know what I mean? But it's a blessing to be out here and to be alive. But I wanted to come and share a thought that I had with y'all. Um, I noticed the other day that my mom and all my aunties on my mother's side of the family, they all talk the same. They all got the same speech patterns, different voices, very similar voices. My auntie Neat, my mom, and my auntie Brenda, they all got real similar voices. My auntie Gwen got a different voice, but she got the same speech pattern and the same speech inflections. My auntie Mary has a similar voice, but a little bit different. But all my aunties talk the same. And I realized that they're all basically just versions of the same person hanging out with each other, which I thought was real cool. You know what I mean? And even my grandmother talked kind of the same too. So they all got the same speech pattern, and they're all basically just different versions of the same person, all hanging out, spending time together. And it made me realize that's what we all are. All of us are just different versions of the same person. Sometimes that person may be your father, that person may be your mother, that person may be an aunt, that person may be a cultural figure or an ancestor. But a lot of us are just different versions of that same person, and we're all running around in life trying to find each other and trying to find a source. We're trying to find the original prototype of the person who we are. That's the mystery of who we are. I mean, a big part of the mystery of who we are is who are we a replica of? Because I don't really see myself as a replica of my uncles. I don't see myself as a replica of my dad, even though I do got some of my dad in me. But I wonder who am I a replica of? You know what I mean? That's probably why I feel so out of place, because I feel like I might be one of the few original people out there. One of the few people out there who really ain't based off of being a replica of somebody else. You know what I mean? Even artists that I enjoy, like Ghostface Killer. When I was young, I used to want to be like Ghostface Killer because I thought he was so cool. I thought he was so unique and was able to pull off one of the most unique artistic endeavors ever, which is to take the English language, flip it, and still make it cool. Still make it hood, still make it street. When he did the Supreme Clientele album, people didn't even understand what he was talking about. But his voice and his flow and his delivery was so ill, people still rock with it. And I used to want to be like that. I used to want to be able to be very, very extreme as an artist, but at the same time, still make the shit relatable and fly. You know what I mean? But even with that, I never was a replica of Ghostface Killer. I was never a replica of RZA. I was never a replica of Nas. I'm a huge Nas fan. Nas is my favorite MC. You know what I mean? I was never a replica of Salman Rushdie. So I probably feel so out of place, and my friends probably feel so out of place because we're not really replicating nobody else. We mad different. We mad different. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but sometimes it feels real real good to be like to feel like you're one of a few. Sometimes I feel kind of lonely. Like I wish I had more of a connection with the people around me. But one thing I will say is that I've been on a journey my entire life looking for the source. Who's the original version of me? Do I have to go way back? Do I have to go back to the ancestors to find the original version of me? Do I have to go back to my dad and get to know my dad a little bit better? He passed away, but there's still people around who knew him. Do I got to sit down and talk with them? Do I got to find out who they are in order to find the original version of me? Or can I just say, hey, I'm the only one of my kind. I'm the only Devin out there. I'm the only Jabril. Anybody else out there like me? Because everybody else around me, I look around and I can see, oh yeah, he's like his dad, or he's like that guy, or he's like. I remember back in the early 2000s, everybody wanted to be Jules Santana from Dipset. So you'll go to the club, or you'll go to a bar, go to the little lounge or whatever, and you'll see everybody dressed like Jules Santana. So it wouldn't be difficult to find the original prototype of that person. But who's the original prototype of me and my crew? I mean, who's like us? I guess nature. I guess nature has to make original prototypes in order to keep the human species evolving. It got to every now and again spit out an anomaly. It got to spit out a couple of weirdos. You know what I mean? So if you feel weird, you feel out of place, you feel like you're the only one of your kind, yeah, it might feel a little lonely, might feel a little stressful. I have a hard time understanding you, but let me tell you, it's necessary. All of this is necessary. All of this is Allah's will. You know what I mean? Allah don't make nothing that doesn't have a use. And your use is to keep the human species moving forward. If everybody is the same, if everybody's a replica of the same 5 or 6 different people, then the human species will never move forward. Nobody will never have an original idea. There'll never be any innovation. You know what I mean? So your body is an innovation. Your genetics is an innovation. Your psychology is an innovation. Your central nervous system is an innovation. And that's what creates innovations in technology, creates innovation in architecture, creates innovation in literature, music. So don't feel out of place. Don't feel odd. You know what I mean? Don't feel strange because you're only one of your kind. You're absolutely necessary. You are absolutely necessary in order to keep this whole thing going. In order to keep families moving forward, in order to keep people giving birth, people healthy, in order to keep the entire human species going. You are needed. You are necessary. And so am I. Strange as I feel sometimes, odd as I feel sometimes, out of places I feel sometimes. Yeah, this is necessary. And plus, how can you get human beings to explore the unseen world? Human beings are very practical. We need food, clothing, and shelter. I mean, you need to create a weirdo every now and again to be concerned about the spirit and the soul, because most people don't care. You can only make people care about the spirit and the soul and about the inner workings of the human mind by making it practical to them. Like that's why a lot of times you look at spirituality now. What do they talk about? Whenever they talk about spirituality now, it's always spirituality and money, spirituality and business, spirituality and relationships. It's never just spirituality just to get close to God. Because for most people, they don't care. You know what I mean? It takes a special kind of person, a unique kind of person, a strange kind of person to want to get close to God for the purpose of getting close to God and discovering more about yourself. And without some kind of immediate practical gratification, most people ain't concerned about that. So shout out to the weirdos, man. Shout out to the Buddha. Shout out to the Prophet Muhammad. Shout out to all the prophets. Shout out to everybody who was a little odd, a little strange, who went on the khalwa. They wanted to go and be alone. They wanted to go somewhere so they could be alone with God. The Prophet Muhammad, before he even received the revelation from the angel Jibril, he used to go out alone by himself into the desert, go out into the caves, sit, meditate, and engage in what they call muraqabah, which is Islamic meditation. And he would sit and he would worship Allah. He was a worshiper of Allah. Keep in mind that Allah was a God who was worshipped before Islam. He was a worshiper of Allah. His father's name was Abdullah, servant of Allah. So he was an adherent to Allah before Islam, before he was given the revelation. And he was given the revelation by the angel Jibril because he wanted to be alone with God. He wanted to discover God, but he wanted to also discover himself. And that process, that tricky sometimes dangerous process of getting to know yourself and gaining knowledge of yourself. This is what drew the archangel to him. This is what drew Jibril to him. Jibril the enlightener. Jibril the one who gives wisdom. Jibril the one who gives knowledge. And the Prophet Muhammad absorbed that knowledge and absorbed that wisdom, and a lot of people want to be replicas of the Prophet Muhammad. That's why they have the 3 stages of annihilation. Fana in Islam. They have Fana fi Sheikh, Fana fi Rasul, and Fana fi Allah. Fana means annihilation, means death. So Fana fi Sheikh means like you die, but you die within your spiritual teacher. You get to know your spiritual teacher so closely that you completely obliterate your ego and the thoughts and the process of the sheikh takes over, and you kind of sort of become the sheikh. You become like the sheikh in many ways. Then Fanafi Rasul, Rasul means the messenger. It's talking about the Prophet Muhammad. So you start studying the Prophet Muhammad so much and you get to know him so intensely and have these spiritual experiences where you're one with the Prophet, where your ego dies even more. You become obliterated even more, and then you become like the Prophet. The Prophet's personality, his habits, and his thought processes begin to take over until you become like the Prophet in many ways. People will see you and see your actions and see the Prophet. And then Fanafi Allah, you become annihilated, become one with Allah. Not saying in the sense that you are Allah, but saying in the sense that you become so close to Allah that your thoughts and your actions and your processes become the same as his. Even though they say Allah is unknowable and incomprehensible, but you can experience Allah. You might not be able to know or understand Allah, but you'll be able to experience Allah, that's just a level of spirituality a lot of people don't understand. You can experience something without understanding it. Like, for instance, you can go to the beach and you can stand in the sun and watch the waves come in, and you get hit with this feeling, this overwhelming feeling of peace and oneness. And you can't really explain it. You can't really understand it. But for some odd reason, you just feel at peace and at one with everything around you. It begins to feel so beautiful, it becomes almost overwhelming, and you have this this spiritual experience. And you can't really put it into words. I mean, you can't really put it into words, but you experienced it, you felt it. The same thing with Allah. You can't really put it into words. Allah is beyond vocabulary. Allah existed before there was language, or at least before there was human language. That's why they say Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam. Because mathematics is a kind of language. So with the language of mathematics, you can understand Allah, or you can try to experience Allah. You might not fully be able to understand Allah, because Allah is incomprehensible. Somebody who never lived, somebody who was never born, somebody who never dies, somebody who exists outside of space and time. They never age, they never get weak, they never sleep, they never get burned out, they don't have to consume calories, they don't give birth to children, but they created everything in the universe. It's incomprehensible. Even the processes to start the universe is incomprehensible. So you can't understand the creator if you can't understand the creation. But you can experience Allah. Though you may not be able to understand him. At least not in this physical state. Because so much of what we learn and what we understand comes from being in a body. I mean, we in 3-dimensional space, so we have to understand everything from that perspective. We can't understand what it's like to be in 4th-dimensional space. We can't even imagine that. I was reading this one book that was talking about how our universe may have come from a 4th-dimensional universe. It may have come from a 4th-dimensional universe in which, our universe was spit out through a black hole. But we can't even comprehend what a 4th-dimensional universe or a 4th-dimensional planet or a 4th-dimensional sun would even look like. My theory is that all dimensions exist in all places all at once. It's just that because we exist in the 3rd dimension, we can only understand and comprehend the 3rd dimension. I'm fourth dimension too, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, all the way up. My infinite dimensions. My dimensions of my body and my thought processes are infinite. But I just don't understand all of them. I don't fully understand myself. When they talk about knowledge yourself, I think this is what they're talking about. They're talking about understanding yourself on real deep dimensional levels. And there are some people out there who exist in third dimensional space, but they understand the sixth dimension. I believe that. There's some people who exist in third dimensional space. They understand 20 dimensions. That's why you have certain phrases that get used in the Holy Quran. You know, certain phrases that get used in spiritual sciences, where it says that between man and Allah, there's 70,000 veils of light. I think each of those veils kind of represent a dimension. They say that there's more veils between the angels and Allah than there are between man and Allah. So I think that there's more dimensions that separate the angels from God than us from God. We're higher up on the heavenly hierarchy. Is the reason why Allah told the angels to bow down and pay submission to Adam. And Iblis rebelled by not paying obeisance to him. Because Iblis thought he understood. He thought he understood and had knowledge of different dimensions. Because he was made of fire. He said, I'm not bowing to him because he's made of earth. He's made of dirt. I'm made of fire. I think that was his way of saying, I understand more dimensions than he does. He's a newborn. Like Ghostface said, he's a newborn. Look at money swimming like he on. But anyway, back to furry kangos, Jamaican wallabies. My back is on the wall. Bombing devils with technology. I think that's what Iblis thought he was doing. He thought he was bombing the devil with technology. He ended up being a shaitan though. That's crazy. That's crazy. But understand that. Don't get mired down in third dimensional space. Because what if your understanding and your subconscious comprehension goes way beyond this? That's why knowledge itself is so important. You got to get to know yourself to get to know what you can and can't do. You don't know what you can and can't do. You don't know how many dimensions you exist in all simultaneously. You don't know how far beyond space and time you exist. You don't know. None of us know. All of us are in the process of exploration. So as we're exploring, understand, go into it with an open mind because you don't know your power. You don't know why Allah told the angels to bow down to you. You don't know why Allah told the angels to pay submission, to pay obeisance to you. Even though you're made out of earth and the shaitan is made of fire. There's a reason why you're so high up in the heavenly hierarchy. Higher than even the angels. But that's an interesting thought. Explore that thought. Look at that thought. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace and blessings.